Welcome to Compounding Change. I'm Shannon Davis, here to help you unlock the power of small actions for big personal and financial results. Whether you're a firefighter or just looking to improve your life, join us for tips and stories that make a difference.
This is the Compounding Change Podcast, sharing stories of small but meaningful changes that compound into amazing impact. Brought to you by Shannon Davis and DavisCompoundingChange.com. Change happens fast. Take advantage. Discussions on this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Retirement Plan Advisors LLC, a federally registered investment advisor. Cambridge Investment Research and Retirement Planning Advisors are not related to DavisCompoundingChange.com or this podcast. Now, here's your host, Shannon Davis.
Let's dive in. So, I'm here today with Lee and Ashlea Sikon. Lee is a captain of the United States Army and recruiting commander in Canton, and Ashlea is an ROTC recruiting operations officer at John Carroll University. Both Ashlea and Lee are owners of North 41 CrossFit in Broadview Heights, and Ashlea is also a coach there. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. That's a lot of stuff that you guys are doing, a lot to unpack with both of you. The reason why I wanted to talk with you guys is because I think there's a lot you can share about your experiences and what led you to where you are today. Everyone has a story to tell, and I'm always interested in hearing more about yours. So first, I want to sincerely thank you both for your service, of course. I have much love and respect for our military and our first responders. I work with firefighters every day, and it just always impresses me. And one of the things that I always wonder is what led somebody to where they are, and what kind of led you guys to join the Army?
Sure. I'll do it first.
You're gonna let me go first. All right. This was a long time ago. So much like all kids that probably grew up in the 80s and early 90s, right? All the movies back then were centered around the military, right? We had Commando and Rambo and Top Gun had just came out, right? So, I saw the movie Top Gun in the movie theaters, and I was like, I want to be a pilot. That's what I want to do. So my trajectory of going in the military was set right there. It didn't go exactly how I wanted, but because you need to be good at like math and have really good vision to be a pilot. So that avenue didn't work out, but ultimately ended up joining, after I graduated and joining the Army after I graduated in 97. So.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of the movies, right?
Did you know then that you wanted to do it for a career, though, and stay in as long as you have?
I think so, yes. That was kind of always the plan. I had all my eggs in that basket.
No backup plan then.
No. If you have a backup plan, then that just gives you an excuse not to.
Yep.
Make plan A work, right?
Definitely. What about you, Ashlea?
So I joined ROTC at Kansas State University. I'm from Kansas originally, so Lee dragged me to Cleveland. Although I do love it. I do love Cleveland. And I joined ROTC my sophomore year in college at Kansas State University, and then that was after 9/11 happened. So I joined right after 9/11 occurred. Just was kind of really driven by that. My dad was traveling that day, and it took a while to get a hold of my mom and him. So I wasn't sure at that time for at least an hour or so what was going on and if he was safe. So that kind of drastic moment for me, and knowing that maybe I could have lost him that day, because I know he was traveling and flying, really drove me to want to join. So
wow, he's in the military.
My dad is not in the military, actually.
Okay.
My brother and I are the only family members outside of my grandfather, who was a Navy cook for a couple years until they found out he was colorblind. I guess you can't be colorblind and be a Navy cook. You gotta be able to tell a red pepper from a green pepper, I guess.
Yeah.
So, um, but they
Yep.
discharged him. But me and my brother are the only ones that joined out of our family. So
Wow. Did your brother join first or did you?
I did, yeah. But my brother's older, so that was
So you motivated him, you
yeah.
inspired
He was
him.
a yeah. He was a high school history teacher, and
Oh,
then
wow.
decided, yeah, he was he had had enough of that and joined the Marines instead.
Wow. Is he
So,
still in?
he's not. Yeah,
Okay.
he got out. I think right before I did.
Okay.
So
And then how long did you serve?
I served for a total of 10 years. I did 7 years active as an primarily a field artillery, and then an adjutant general or human resource officer. And then I did 3 years as a commander in the guard.
Wow. So I know now you're doing ROTC recruiting. So have you consistently done that or were you led to do that because that's how you got involved?
So I was just ready for career change. So no, I haven't been doing that. I've been primarily in administration work, executive assistant work up until I did the recruiting. I got this recruiting job with John Carroll, and so it's a brand new path for me that I'm tapping into, and yeah, it's been challenging, kind of doing that career change again. Once again, I did one when I got out of the military, and here I am about 13 years later doing it again. So, but I've been enjoying it so far, and yeah, I think just knowing that we need good people in these recruiting positions, who really know what kind of good talent, good officers look like, what right looks like for an officer, I think is important. So I do feel a little bit of a heavy weight in that sense to sort of make sure we're commissioning, good, solid officers in our military. Because we need good leadership right now in our
Definitely.
military. So.
Well, and you guys are both in recruiting though. So is there something that is there a message that you give to your new recruits that they should do something different that you maybe missed out on because you didn't know until after the fact? I mean, anything, whether it's financial or with respecting authority.
Well, well, so unfortunately, I in my position as a recruiting commander don't have much interaction with the recruits. Once they enlist, they are there. It is on me. We call them future soldiers, right? And it is on me to make sure that they get some training before they go to basic training, and stuff like that. So I get a little bit of interaction, but not much. And really, the lessons learned come out in all of our stories that we tell. And you talk about financial. Um, I was a really really bad private, and
They all usually
and
are.
and I it was my first checking account. It was the first time I was away from home, and nobody taught me anything, and I figured, well, if you have checks, you have money, right?
Ah, yes.
So
That's why they don't give those out anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, lesson learned, obviously, but so yeah, don't write checks unless you have money in your account to cover the checks.
Hmm. Seems
So
basic, but you'd be surprised
yeah.
how many don't realize that. Now it's
Mhm.
just the debit card, right? I mean, so I guess
Right.
people aren't really writing the checks, but they are swiping that card
Yeah.
more often than they need to be. Is there
Yes.
anything I had a conversation briefly doing a ruck hike with Ashley about
Mm.
finances and just that a lot of people, exactly what you said, you have the checks, you write the checks, but it seems like there's a lot of benefits that the military or army provides that maybe um, you don't budget appropriately or that you don't just utilize what's the assets that are given to you or the funds that are given to you properly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did
No, for
you?
sure. I think, yeah, for like instance like TSP, savings accounts, like we really didn't take advantage of that early enough in our careers to
Mm.
really let that grow and compound for us, right?
Right.
So that's definitely something, an opportunity that we missed out on financially that I really wish we would have, both of us really would have maybe had a little bit more trading in and understanding of, and how it would have looked for us now, right? Which would have been a big help. So.
And you're talking about TSP, but not to get on a financial rant, but
That's okay.
it's that's more important now for folks that are just going in than it was there than it is for me, right? Because the Army has two retirement plans. They have, the 3-year high, and then they have the blended retirement, which now if you join, you don't have an option. You are doing the blended retirement.
Mm.
And there's good and bad to that. But it's largely based on that TSP and how much and how well you do, or how much you contribute to that. Whereas me, since I'm on the old program, I don't have to contribute. I just automatically get 50% of my pay when I retire,
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I do find, as time goes by, it's the same with the firefighters that I work with, or teachers. My parents were fortunate to be of the time that they were getting both Social Security and pension. And that's not the case anymore. It's not that fluid. But so I wanted to also ask, not to jump topics, but everything that we do leads to something else. And I know that you didn't have a plan B, but as your career maybe comes to a close, do you have, I know that you guys together own North 41 CrossFit. So is that a down the line thing? I know Ashley coaches there. Um, is that something that you see being a full-time gig sometime in the future
For me,
for you?
yes,
Yeah.
and that was kind of to, the idea started. Hey, let's build a barn in the backyard. Put our workout equipment in it, so that, because we don't want to pay $200 a month for a CrossFit membership, right?
Right.
Or really it'd be $400 a month,
Right,
for the
for
both
both
of
of
us.
us.
Right.
But
So, hey, let's dump
and
a
then,
whole bunch of money into a gym
well,
versus
it,
that.
it, and then the idea. So we got the barn quote, right, and they're like, oh, it's going to be $60,000, and I'm thinking it over, and then I call my realtor buddy, and I'm like, hey, is this a good investment in a house? Because every piece of money I put into the, I bounce it off him, and he's like, you won't raise the value, you won't get it back. And so then our idea, right, our great idea, good idea fairy, was, let's just rent a place, and if we can get enough people to like go in on it with us, then then we break even, right?
Right. It's like Field
Well,
of Dreams. Build it, they will come, right?
Exactly.
well, as the process goes on, right? Well, now you want to affiliate with CrossFit. You want to pay for programming. The rent is not as cheap as you might think it is, and so basically one thing snowballed into the other.
And before
And
you know it, you need 41 members.
well, right. And now we
Hmm.
need 41 members to break even.
Yeah.
Okay. That's too easy. The last gym we were at had hundreds of members, right? Well, it takes time to get the word out. So
Hmm.
it does not go as fast as you may think. But yeah, so and now we have, 100 members, and now it was not supposed to be this much of a requirement for our time yet. But that's a good problem to have, because it is my retirement plan. The gym is my retirement plan. We've put every bit of money that we've saved, from deployments, from our time in the military.
Selling
We
houses.
were, selling houses. We had stocks and savings, and we were like, you know what? We're going to pull everything out, and we're going to bet on ourselves. Um, you know, at least then we can say, if we fail, then we failed, and we try.
Hmm.
But that's our plan, and we're So yes, it's my retirement plan. I didn't do
Yeah.
it through a savings plan, so the gym is it.
Right. Right. Well, as a former gym owner, I won't tell you it wasn't my best financial move, but no, that's great. And I mean, it is a great place, and it CrossFit is a great community. How long ago did you guys start CrossFit? And
Almost
did you
13
find it
years
in the
now.
military or did you find it outside the
Yeah.
military?
So
It was a little
yeah,
bit different, right? Because
right.
like we started in 2013,
So
yeah,
we started together in 2011 or
13,
12. No,
13,
yeah. Um,
12.
but I found it in Afghanistan when I was over there, and I started doing versions of it. Right back then, it was still kind of making its way into the military kind of
Right.
pipelines of information of what it is, and so yeah, so that's when I started doing 2011 or 2000, sorry, 2000, yeah, 11. And then when I got back from that deployment, I met, Lee shortly after. He had just gotten to Fort Carson, and then he had also sort of been playing around with some sort
Yeah,
of hit stuff, and
yeah. I was say like I was just doing regular gym lifting, and then she's like, "Well, let's go try this out." And then we tried it out a little bit, and then I deployed to
Mm,
Afghanistan. So I mean, I kind of knew what it was when we first met, but I really found it in Afghanistan because there was a non-profit affiliate in Kandahar
mm-hmm.
called Kandahar CrossFit,
oh, wow.
and it was literally a concrete pad with T walls surrounding it, and all the equipment was in the Connex or the trailers, and then they would take it out for classes. And so all the coaches there volunteered their time to coach. Um, so that's really where I was like, oh wow, this is really what CrossFit is, because like we had just met before my deployment, and so wasn't completely sold on it. But then when I got back, I think that's when we
Mm-hmm.
first joined our first
First time.
gym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys in Afghanistan together?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Different
met
times.
you met over here.
We met at Fort Carson,
Mhm.
Colorado,
Oh, okay.
when we were both not deployed. So
Got it.
yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Uh,
So a couple things that you guys do that I think is really awesome with the gym is Sunday Hero Wads. Is that continuing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. Every
Yes.
Sunday.
Every Sunday. Yeah. At nine
So
o'clock. Mm-hmm.
for those few who have lived under a rock, why is it a hero wad? Or
So
workout
hero
of the
wads
day,
can,
sorry.
yeah,
That's what the
yeah, workout of the day is WOD, yeah,
right.
hero wads. So
Right.
hero wads are established to honor a fallen hero, like a soldier who passed away. It could be or Navy, it could be Army, Navy, any of the Army components. It could be a police officer, firefighter. It doesn't even have to be American, right? There's a lot of hero wads out there that we do that are, from the British Army, or from a foreign force of some sort, right? But they've made their name and their way over to through CrossFit like website headquarters website, right? A hero one. So now the world knows their name and gets to honor them, in this way, that they would have wanted to be honored as probably someone who was part of the CrossFit community or fitness community in general. And there's a lot of hero wads that we've made that are for people who maybe weren't, who passed away before CrossFit was a thing, right?
Right.
But we still honor them because they were fitness fiend, right? Like fitness was their life, and so it just translates well, to honor them in that way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. And try not to complain when you do those, right?
It's okay. Yeah, it's
But those are
we try
hard.
not to, but we get each other through it. I mean,
Right.
we have a pretty solid group of people who show up, every Sunday. We have our regulars, and then it's fun to have new people come in and experience that, with us. And so Steve Schultz runs those for us, and he's been doing a great job. He's such a huge supporter of the military and our, first responders. He's raised over $30,000 doing this Hero One Sunday for the last 3 years. So
And how did you connect with Steve?
So Steve was actually one of the first people that came into our gym when we did our open house at the old location.
Okay.
So yeah, he walked in, and actually the first introduction we had to Steve was through CrossFit Clee when we were doing a drop in there one winter that we were there for during Christmas break when we were here to visit Lee's family for Christmas. So we got he was coaching there at that time, and he was our coach. So
Oh,
we
that's
got to
cool.
meet him then, and then we just recognized him when he came in the door, and he was
Yeah.
like, "We know you." So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. So is the you guys are also fundraising for or working on taking donations for another
yeah. So
cause
we're
for that
working right
too.
now with Canine for Warriors. We are, I think, up to about $2,000 raised there. That will close, I think, around March timeframe, that fundraiser. So, but we're just, our goal was a little lofty. We were trying to support the training of one of their shelter dogs. So basically, Canine for Warriors takes shelter dogs out of the shelter and trains them for support, emotional, support for veterans, first responders with trauma, PTSD, stuff like that.
And what is the goal, or what do you need to raise for that?
It was 30K.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well,
But yeah,
so that was the goal,
that was
and
the
it was
goal.
30K because at 30K we get to actually sponsor a
Right.
very specific dog,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And kind of follow that journey of its training and pairing with a veteran. So I mean, but any amount raised is still going to
Yeah.
go to that foundation and help. It just, if you reach 30, you get to have a very specific animal and vet.
Right.
Right. Right. So are you guys involved in training dogs? Are your dogs well trained?
No, if you've met our dogs, Shannon, you know they're not
Yeah.
trained.
Very
I
bad
thought
at that.
maybe you'd give me some tips for mine, but
I'm good
apparently
at
not.
spoiling dogs, but not training.
Yeah. Well, good. So is there anything that any advice that you can that would resonate with our military and first responders, that whether it's financial, fitness, emotional, or some services that you've found that are beneficial that people don't know about? I mean, just anything that you guys have to put out there, trying to get word out of things that are helpful to others.
Mhm. I would say first and foremost, uh, just get smart on it now, right? Like, I mean, I feel like again, Lee and I kind of got behind the power curve on, not doing that early in our careers. But what else?
TSP
TSP,
specific.
yeah, specifically, yes, yep. Get on that right away if you're military. I think does that apply? I don't think that applies to first responders, but military for sure.
They
If you're
have
military,
other
definitely get
options,
on
yeah.
that. If you haven't established that TSP, get on that for sure. So, yeah, and just take advantage of everything that you can take advantage of. Seek out all avenues of financial health that you can do, because sometimes some of these things, if you don't action them soon enough, then the time passes where you can it'll actually benefit you. So
Right.
the sooner the better.
Well, and another thing that you guys are kind of working together on, or that was new to me, is across from the gym is also and the name of that is escaping me. The
D2.
D2 human
Yes,
Yeah.
performance,
D2.
yes,
But there's a
yes.
component there that's beneficial for our first responders.
Yes, yeah. So they're doing it's sort of a study that they're doing under a grant
Mhm.
that actually supports their other parts of the recovery portion of that facility. But yes, they are doing a study with it was brainwave
Yeah,
study,
it's called ETMS,
right?
and I'd have to use my Google machine for that. But basically, it's from what I understand, it's like it's a treatment of brainwaves through use of magnets, and it's to regulate or re-regulate the brain waves, bringing kind of like your cognitive function back to where it's supposed to be, whether it's out of line from PTSD or some trauma or whatever it may be. And so yeah, I know they're working with the local VA, and moving through that.
Yeah, and it's not just veterans, not just first responders. They work with sexual trauma victims as well. So,
Wow, that's great. Yeah, maybe I need to talk to them. Talk to them more. That's awesome. There's so many things that I was just at a union meeting yesterday, and there were some people who spoke about different things that are out there that we just don't know about. So, I mean, it's just important to get the message out there, and, like your experiences with the military, the gym, D2. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. I know you guys are busy. So it's fun to get to talk to you in a different capacity versus just working out with you guys and everybody's cranky, right? Occasionally I get to work out with you guys. I don't know. It's been a long time. A Sunday, I guess. Maybe I worked out with Ashley.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you. If there's anything else that you guys want, we can always meet again and talk again, but I appreciate your time.
Love that.
Thanks for tuning in to Compounding Change. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe and share it with others. Until next time, keep making those impactful changes and take charge of your future. Thanks. Bye.
This has been the Compounding Change Podcast with Shannon Davis. If you are a firefighter or first responder, you know that change happens fast. Life changes, finance changes, compounding change. Shannon Davis is a certified retirement counselor who understands the needs of Ohio Association of Professional Firefighters members. Click on daviscompoundingchange.com to learn more. Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Retirement Plan Advisors LLC, a federally registered investment advisor. Cambridge Investment Research and Retirement Planning Advisors are not related to daviscompoundingchange.com or this podcast. Please note that investment involves risk and no statements made in this recording are indicative of future performance. The Compounding Change Podcast is brought to you by Shannon Davis.